Alright, it's your boy, Ambassador Han, Red the Truth Spitter, aka Redbeard the Barber from MPMVA, Newport News, Virginia. Yeah, this is about to be the first episode y'all about to be a witness to of true stories from God's glory. And on this story, we have none other than J. Moses, Regalis Hill. So I already told you what his name is. It's the man right here. You can introduce yourself if you would like.
And how y'all doing, man? First things first, y'all gotta know, like, all truth is here, uncut. You gotta, anything y'all wanna know about me, make sure y'all stay tuned to True Stories for God's Glory and go check out my music. My Instagram is moses.j and you'll see me performing more and you'll see me doing more videos sooner than later. And y'all stay tuned.
Matter of fact, where you from?
I'm from Newport News, Virginia.
Bad news.
And
Yeah, we win.
We win. You from Bad News? Okay. What about you? What, 20, 21? What that was?
I'm 22. My birthday was June 14th.
Gemini. All right. So okay, we trying to get to know a little bit about you before you go into the story and all. And I guess I want to ask, like, what kind of living conditions were you? How did you come up? Like, you come up in the hood? Did you come up in a house? And how was that for you?
Yeah, like for a while I've been like multiple apartments, but first it was downtown in the hood, like 44th Street. If many of y'all know what Newsom Park is, I was down there for like a quarter of my life, like until I got like 10, and then I went all the way uptown. It won't. I didn't look at environments no different than from where I was from, and everything like that. So uptown, we kind of turned it different. You know, me and my friends cause my cousin moved up with me. So, and with my brother and his friends being up there as well, it started to like not be so different. So my mom moved us from uptown into midtown, like near City Center area. And like in City Center area, she brought me over there because the environment uptown wasn't even like right for me, because like I was, you know what I'm saying, smoking or whatever with my friends and like just staying out late and not having good grades and stuff like that. But I was graduating.
Speaking of grades, what schools did you go to?
I'm glad you asked, because downtown, first it was Newsom Park, but I got kicked out of that and I had to go to Carver.
Why did you get kicked out?
Fighting early. Like most of the time it was my cousin or my cousin's friends, because they would like bully me because I was overweight and stuff like that when I was younger. And then in Carver, I was like actually making friends and stuff like that until we had to go uptown. And uptown is where I spent the rest of my school time at Woodside and everything like that. But my first year of no. It was a middle school I was going to before Woodside was Dozier, and I was getting into a lot of trouble, like a lot more fights and everything like that. I was the one who like kept everything under wraps and stuff like that. Never really got suspended much for the fights. It was just the other stuff that was happening and stuff. And that was where my mind kind of took a toll, like on like being more infatuated with girls and stuff like that. But I won't ever around and about, because I was still always like overweight, or at the end of middle school, I started losing weight. So when I get into high school, this is my first time actually going into Enterprise, like for like a semester and stuff like that. And
What is Enterprise?
Enterprise is like a private school and everything like that, for people that like go through court cases, or people with or people that like have a repetition of fighting a lot, and then once they get in trouble too many times, like get suspended too many times, they get sent to a alternative or private school and everything like that, which is called Enterprise.
Okay.
And the reason why they sent me was kind of bogus. Okay, it was because the fighting history of everything I was doing in middle school, like I had too many suspensions. So the first thing that they was even able to get me for in ninth grade was because I had like a mental record. That came in around in middle school time, and I would have to explain that a little later. But basically, because of my mental record, I wrote something in like a class essay and everything like that, and it was pretty good. But the teacher was concerned because of what I was writing about, like on how life is kind of jacked up and how I could see all of that. And then she gave it to the principal, and they was searching my bag and everything and asking me about the paper and everything like that. And I was like, that's just how I was feeling in the moment. But at this time, I was using my older brother's book bag, and they found like a razor blade for like to shave and stuff like that because he was grown, he's out of school and everything like that. But they seen marks on my arm and assumed that I was a danger to myself and other people, so they sent me to Enterprise. And I'm like, that reason right there kind of had me looking at the rest of my school year jacked up, as in I don't even want to be here. I see how it's institutionalized, and you can like treat the kids wrong and not even
during this. I don't mean to cut you off, but during this time frame that you're talking about, were you in any kind of church, or was you in any kind of, you know what I'm saying, did your family have any type of belief that you know what I'm saying, or was you just all street, you didn't have no?
I kind of got raised. Okay, so me, all of my brothers were kind of raised into it because my dad, like, you know what I'm saying, he, at first in his life, wasn't raised that way, but came into the faith for like, you know what I'm saying, following the Bible and even knowing the Quran and stuff like that. So when me and my brothers was getting raised up, we was raised in like Christianity and stuff like that and knowing of the Bible. So yeah, I was going to church like for most of my life, that all I can know of. This was even when I was downtown, and it stopped for a period of time because it was a separation. And when we went uptown, I wasn't really going unless the church van was to pick me up. And then after like in the middle, like middle school, I stopped going. And there.
What church was this?
Empower Believers Christian Learning Center.
And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna I'll tell you later why I asked you this question. What was your pastor's name?
My pastor's name was Pastor John.
Okay. All right. Well, that's. I'll tell you later why I asked that question. But most people that say they go to church can't even tell you the name of their pastors. The pastors they went to. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. But to go on, I ain't trying to mix it up. I ain't trying to mix it up because we got to get into the story before we cut this joke so y'all can know what's really jumping off here. So I guess what I want to ask is, what do you think drove you, like, from not believing that way that your father, you know what I'm saying, was following, to, you know what I'm saying, venturing out into doing other stuff and believing in other stuff? What took you there? What turned you that way?
Okay, so it, like I said, that would have happened like to start near my middle school years, like around 7th grade. I was like around like 12, 13. And the reason why I kind of strayed away from church was, one, my dad wasn't able to take us each and every time it was just a church band, and sometimes it felt different. And then what I started getting myself into, evolving an older female, and you know what I'm saying, stuff happened in the church, as in like I didn't know nothing about this, being like just hitting a teenager and hormones starting, so I couldn't even focus on what I knew church to be and stuff. So I felt like the actual church environment wasn't even good for me. So I started trying to go to sleep more often, trying to avoid
Your
certain.
adults better listen. Y'all adults better listen. He telling you from the real. Y'all better listen.
True stories for God's glory.
True stories for God's glory. Y'all better go ahead, finish. I'm
So
sorry.
I was trying to go to sleep and avoid church, and it ended up being to a point where I stopped going to church, and it was like a rebellion point because I knew who God was. Started to question him, but went further than questioning him and actually put myself in rebellion of him, because I remember hearing a Bible verse saying like those who make themselves a friends of the world make themselves an enemy of God. And that's exactly what I made myself purposely, because I was like, I see that this way not really all it seemed to be to me. So I'm gonna try everything else the world has to offer. So I got into darker stuff, like knowing what crystal do, and tarot cards, Ouija boards, astrology, and even darker things like witchcraft, necromancy, divination, sorcery, and all these things. I was thinking that it was just spirituality, but it was far from God. It was me glorifying myself or other so-called sources of like power and stuff like that, but it wasn't pulling from the Almighty. So
Peeps, it's the man's ambassador Hungry, the true spitter, aka Redbeard the Barber. Reigning from NPNVA, that is Newport News, Virginia. Raised in the East End, known to many as Bad News. And I am the nominated host for the brand new podcast called True Stories for God's Glory. It's kind of like testimonials without the religiosity, yet recognizing the spiritual manifestation of the Most High's life-changing experiences in one's life that makes them a better person today than they were yesterday. To simplify, this opportunity awaits our experiences, strengths, and hopes to uplift and encourage the same in those that God has chosen to hear and comply.
even in every other religion, because not just studying the spiritual stuff, I was studying other religions. In every other religion, they talk about duality. If people can go into a spirituality thinking everything goes, they're deceived, because there are always two sides of the coin. There are spiritual things that people do that's connected to the world.